Alright, this is Monday, phase 3's program. So phase 3 is on Mondays is 5 rounds of 20 seconds of work with a 20-second break. Conceptually, today is all about true strength. We're trying to get people as strong as possible. We do have a little cardio involved, but our main goal is strength here. Exercise number 1, the deadlift, is our focus. Everything's built around the deadlift. We want to try to get between 4 to 6 reps in their time frame. So we want to teach them, hey guys, our goal here is to get 4 to 6 reps, no more than that. That allows us to figure out how much weight we should lift. If we're getting more than 8 reps, we probably need to make sure that we're going a little bit heavier. If we can't get 4, then we need to go a little bit lighter. We're looking for that sweet spot of 4 to 6 reps, and every single week trying to get a little heavier, a little heavier, a little heavier. So we're going to go through the different variations of deadlift first. We're going to go from the easiest variation of deadlift to the hardest variation. So the easiest one will be a kettlebell deadlift. So just like we've been doing from weeks past, keep it towards our heels, driving the hip, bending over, nice core, tight core, coming down. Once we get to this bent over position, then we're going to just squat down slightly, grab a hold, stand tall, squeeze our glutes, nice strong shoulders back, put it right back. We found it, up and down each time. On a kettlebell deadlift, we do touch the ground. Our goal is probably to get somewhere between 35 to 50 pounds, no lighter than that. And we want to start moving them though towards the trap bar deadlift. Again, a kettlebell deadlift you can do a lot of reps on. The nice thing is it gives you a little bit of safety feeling, but over time we want to get less reps and we want to get them to a stronger position. So our first safety exercise is the trap bar deadlift. On a trap bar deadlift, nice part about this is we don't have to worry about the bar being close to our body. Same position, abs tight, drive those hips back, nice bent over. From here, I should be able to almost reach the handles. Maybe a little bend down and get a hold of it. When I grab a hold, I want to make sure my hands are right in line, this bar is right in line with my ankles. Always think about that. Hand in line with ankles. Stand up, squeeze tall, nice tall chest, abs tight. Put it back right where I found it, driving the hips backwards, right? We're RDLing backwards, coming down, touching. As you can see here, my hands the whole time end in line with my ankles. They're not out in front. You see how that center position is way out in front of my toes? We want to make sure it's right in line with the ankles as we come up and down, back and forth. This allows our clients to feel a little bit safer and have a little bit more control. The bar on the smaller one is a 45-pound bar, so we can add a little bit lighter weights to it. Only issue that we have is when we get these bigger bars, these guys are 80-pound bars. So the thing is, we have to elevate the bar on this to make it so that it's set up kind of like the height of these guys here are. So on this one, same idea, up and down. We're just going to touch the boxes as we come down as a depth gauge. As you can see, these guys also only have one put on this one, but they also have kickstands that will have one more of these trap bars set up down here that will be weighted. We'll have probably 10 pounds on each side to make 100 pounds. And to change the weight, you can kickstand them up, pull the weight on and off very easily. The hardest variation that we have is what's called a straight bar deadlift. When demonstrating to clients, it's totally fine to face the client. Just make sure that you tell them, hey guys, you're actually going to face the mirror when you do this so they can watch their own technique. So on this position, I want to make sure that the barbell's in line with my shins as tight as possible. One tip that me and Nate always tell people is if you've never done a straight bar deadlift, start with the trap bar first, and over a few weeks, we can move you on to the straight bar. If you're used to doing straight bar deadlifts, you can go ahead and start on the straight bar deadlifts. So nice and tight to the body. Again, drive our hips backwards, coming down and grabbing a hold right next to our shin, a hold right next to our shin. In this position here, I have a little round in my back, so I have to drop my hips down to get a little bit straighter. From here, I'm going to pull up, keeping it tight to my body, tall, squeeze my glutes, put it right back where I found it, which means I put it right back down my body again. Shin, 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 tight, 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 touch. Up and down. A good strategy for this and all the other things that we've taught is remember we're only looking for 4 to 6 reps this week, or this month. So when we come down every time, it's good to let that thing stop, hold for a second, come back up. Put it right back where you found it. Stop for a second, come back up. That way they know they're lifting as heavy as possible. If they're doing quick touch goes, a touch and go means that you're probably not being very strong. It's a little bit quicker variation. We want to stop every time, engage again, get that upper back engaged, pull, put it back down. Me and Nate will actually spend a lot of time with you this week or next couple weeks getting better and better at teaching deadlifts as they're pretty advanced exercise and they're not too hard once you learn the process of them. The other thing to think about this month is you'll see out here on these things, you'll see weights. This is how much the barbells weigh. There are also weights that we'll put onto these that'll tell how much weight's on there. This allows the clients to easily come up to them real quick and see how much weight's there for them. So if you adjust the weight, you need to make sure that you erase this, which you're gonna need some of the spray to erase it because they're pretty hard to erase. Erase it and put a new number on that if we go up each week in weight. Otherwise, we wanna set these up as the base weight as we go along. All right, we're gonna move on to exercise number 2. This one's a dumbbell lateral raise. We're gonna have our dumbbells. We'll keep the dumbbells on the rack and they'll come grab them. So you don't have to set up the dumbbells in this one. Abs tight. We're gonna have a slight bend in the elbows as we come out with this position, come back down, right? So you see me here, I'm not completely straight out, which is more shoulder blades screw. I have just a little bend as I come up into position here. The reason is we're trying to get this anterior and lat engaged instead of getting a trap shrug, right? So a little bend, up, control back down. That way it's all shoulder and not trap position. So we do have some people that when they do that weight, that's a little too tough on their shoulders. A big tip for that one is lighter is going to be a little bit normal. So the strongest of people might be able to do 25 pounds. So they're not going to be crazy heavy. So females are probably going to have to get over on this rack down to the 8 and 6 pounders because it is a pretty tough exercise. So if they can't do that one, we're going to have a band, underhand, pull apart, squeeze our shoulder blades down and back, control out. Down and back, control out. Okay? Exercise number 3, we're moving on to the bike. So we'll have a couple bikes set up along here in this, facing this direction for you guys. A couple of tips before we get this started is adjusting the seat. So one thing that we have a lot of times is taller people want a higher seat, shorter people want a lower seat. So we are going to try to set up 4 bikes and try to keep them at different heights a little bit. But a quick adjustment on the seats, they'll have time in their 1-minute transition to adjust the seat if they want. As you just twist it out a little bit, this one's pull it out, move it to whatever height you want, put it back in, and just give it 3 turns. You don't have to turn it all the way tight. If you turn it all the way tight, it's going to be forever for the other person to unload the other one. It's plenty good after about 3 turns. We're going to hop onto our bike. In this position here, all we're going to ask people is go as hard as they can. I'm not going to really go hard because I don't want you to get too loud. We're just going to be going on a tight, really digging in really hard. What you'll see is a lot of clients on this one want to go driving Miss Daisy, which means that they just want to go nice and slow out for a nice joyride. We want to encourage them to get on there. It's only 20 seconds and gun it. It should be hard. It should be like slider runners where it's super uncomfortable. You want to get on and go as hard as you can on that. Rarely we have somebody that has issues that they can't do the bike, but if we ever do have somebody that can't do a bike, another good modification is just grabbing a medicine ball and do a medicine ball slam, and for some reason it hurts somebody's knees, but that's like very, very rare. But the bikes will have 4 of them sitting out here. Exercise number 4 is going to be over here, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. Oh, TRX rows, there you go. TRX rows. So on TRX row, you keep the abs nice and tight, we're going to lean backwards. From this position here, so this is going to be different. Our TRX rows, we're going to have 3 set up here. We usually have them down there. We're going to have them 3 set over here. That way we can make sure that their forearms aren't dead for the deadlifts. So in this position, we're going to lean back, abs tight, pulling towards the rib cage, control back down. The thing is, this is only 20 seconds. So to get an idea, we're only looking for 4 to 6 reps. So people can really challenge themselves on this one by getting down farther because it's a short period of time and pulling up and down. Don't be afraid to challenge them to go a little bit deeper down there and make it a little bit more challenging as you go. Again, every single time is pulling that towards the bottom of the rib cage, not up in the armpits where you're struggling. And the last exercise we have today is going to be plank circles. This is going to be new to everybody who's never done these here before. So we're going to have our sliders. Start with our hands in the middle of them. Plank position. Feet are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, right? From here, we're going to wax on and wax off. So wax on, wax off. And then we're just spinning. 1 at a time. Don't have them try to do 2 at a time because there's a good chance that they're going to face plant. So just 1 at a time. From there, our modification is just a plank. You can plank on your hands or plank in your arms. That's Monday's program. All right, guys, the finisher is a 5-minute AMRAP. So again, this is as many rounds as possible, so have 5 minutes. We're going to do 15 reps of each one of these. The idea here is to move quickly through it, trying to get as many rounds as they possibly can. We are trying to get a decently elevated heart rate, so technique is important, but there's also a part where sometimes I'm looking for speed almost over technique, okay? So, number one is a linear line hop. The cool part is inside the gym, they all have lines. They don't have to use them, but the nice thing is they could use a line. So linear line hop is going to be forward and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 15 total of those. If you can't do that, they can do a two-step shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 15 of those, okay? From there, they're gonna do a band thruster. So on a band thruster, I do encourage people to try to go a little heavier on their band thruster. The red one might be a little too light for your stronger people. The red one for itself is gonna be pretty good for a lot of people, but for the stronger people, try to get them to go to a black band. We're gonna deep squat all the way down, drive through, down. Drive through, really trying to extend in that top position and trying to get them to squat as deep as they possibly can coming through, okay? We'll have 15 of those. If you have somebody that has knee issues, and we're really trying to burn up the upper body and that hip hinge a little bit, so we're actually gonna do a medicine called push press on this one. So somebody that can't do a full squat is gonna come over here and drive your hips back a little bit, punch, back, punch. So we aren't looking for a full squat out there. We're trying to get them to get a lot of reps in that 15 rep range, okay? Weight-wise, it's probably like a 6 or an 8 pounder when they're doing that. The third exercise is gonna be a hollow snap. So in a hollow snap, I want my body to be nice and long, toes pointed, hands above head. Coming up quickly, a small snap, down, 1, 2, 3, 15 total of those. You see I'm not really getting high and curled, I'm trying to get a short little position off, about a foot from the ground, and about a foot from the ground as it comes up. Trying to keep that lower back nice and tight to the ground, control down. From there, if they can't do that, we're doing a dead bug. Body nice and tight, hands here, drive it apart, and back in. Another 5 minutes, trying to get that heart rate as elevated as quickly as possible.